Can you hear me? There we go. I know that people are happy to see others, and we appreciate the camaraderie, but we need to start the meeting on time if we can, so I'll call this meeting to order.
Hold for public comment section.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask Chris and Job to please lead us in the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Only you can say that.
Well, I think we move right to, there's no agenda changes. We'll move right to the superintendent's report.
Sounds great. Well, good evening, everybody. It's so nice to see all of you, and thank you for coming. I want to take an opportunity just to share some of the things that have happened since the beginning of the school year. There's so much that's gone on, but here's just a few highlights. I want to start off by just sharing that school doesn't start on the day that the kids come. There's a lot of work that has to be done beforehand, and there's a lot of people that make that happen. And so I want to celebrate some of those people as we go forward. So these are some parents, students, staff that all came in early to help update the Isaac Montañez Elementary Library as that has grown. And I was in there with Josefina today, and it looked fantastic. So really doing a good job, and they're getting ready to launch Accelerated Reader. So thanks to everybody. We have a lot of students that take on leadership roles throughout our district to make sure that other students feel welcome when they make transitions. So here's some Bristow leadership students that are taking some summer training and getting ready to welcome back students for the new year. And then Mrs. Terry, Ms. Hagan, and Mrs. Jeffrey lead those leaders and come in early to help make that happen. So thank you to everybody who's involved in that. Here's some Edna Hill Middle School leadership students who are welcoming the sixth graders on campus for the first time prior to the start of school. And thank you to our PAL group for the barbecue. I see some of our officers. Thank you, Officer King and Officer Rucker, for your part in that and making sure that partnership continues. And here's some Bristow Web students hosting this orientation for sixth graders. And it's wonderful to make sure that they have a great first experience. Also, thanks to Emily St. Pierre for helping make that a great event as well. And then we're really excited about that, and is going to show pictures of it throughout the year. But this is our first teacher residency team meeting where everybody was all together. So these are our mentored lead teachers and our student teachers that are together. And so we're so proud to be able to work with St. Mary's College and have this program here where our teacher candidates are going to grow with some of our best teachers in the district. They're going to be able to sub in our district, and then hopefully they'll turn around and be outstanding teachers in our districts for years to come as they earn their credential. So we also, there's a tradition now that shows some of our TK, especially in kindergarten programs, have a back to school night before school ever begins. And so these are CRAE teachers welcoming parents to give them an overview of what to expect before they come. We also have lots of people that do things to try to help out in our community. So this is a CRAE parent. Her name's Alex Aragon, and her son Oliver. So Alex works for the Gap and organized some donation drives in Napa and Vacaville and Concord, and all of those donations went to CRAE. So thank you to Alex and Oliver for thinking of us. And then here's a little sneak peek at Montañez where you can see kids getting to come on campus, see where they're going to be, getting to meet their teacher maybe for the first time, so that the first day of school goes even smoother. And so many first day of school pictures, but here's a couple there's some teachers from Loma Vista, some students out at Adams. So happy to get started as we went. And then want to remind everybody that we have a virtual academy. So Harvest Grove had their fantastic first day of school and did a lot of community circles and built activities that would bring people together out there. So a lot of those students are learning at home. And so this is an opportunity for them to meet other students in the community too. So thank you for doing that. This is a great picture of the second year of Montañez Elementary, but also I wanted to highlight the cake that was there too, and thank the Board of Education for delivering all those cakes out to the schools. And so it's funny, as you go around, sometimes as you go around at like 9 o'clock in the morning, there's still still there in their entirety. And then by 9:45, there's mini bites taken out of them, and then by 10:30, they're pretty much just a couple pieces. So they are appreciated, and that's a nice tradition. So thank you for doing that. I always love this program that Adams does. So they do a What Not to Wear staff fashion show to help remind students what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. So great fun idea. One of the things I want to highlight is just the dramatic change we've seen in our food services program and the quality of the food that's out there for our students to eat. And you saw a presentation at the end of the year that Kristen Neeson gave last year. But these are kids that are getting fresh banana splits. They're getting smoothies for breakfast. There's a lot of homemade things that are going on. And so if your students haven't tried our cafeteria program, I'd highly encourage them to. There's some fantastic things going on. And so many of our food service workers are doing so much to make those 2 meals a day that many students are enjoying special and nutritious and great. Lots of also ways to welcome students onto campus after school started. So this is Edna Hill doing a Bobcat boot camp and run by leadership students to help students feel welcome coming on campus. We also have our second year of our elementary theater arts program. So if you remember, this is the elementary program that incorporates drama and music and art for our younger students that we're using proposition money that's specifically for arts and music. And so this is at Marsh Creek, Mrs. Tucker's first grade class. It's there with Mr. Schneider, their ETA teacher. Last year, we unfortunately lost a wonderful aide, Mrs. Heidi Schatzwell, who had retired from our district just recently, and she had passed away. And so I thought that this was a wonderful opportunity to provide a tribute to her at the place that she worked so hard. So her family and friends collected money, and they made a buddy bench and put it out at Marsh Creek, and they had a special ceremony at the morning assembly. So thank you to her family, and we loved Heidi, and we're sorry not to have her anymore. And thank you to Mrs. D'Alfonsi for putting such a special tribute together for her. Going on. I was able to visit a new class that's taking place out at Adams, or that at least is growing. It's a financial literacy class. It's something that we're trying out with our middle school students. And so this is Mr. Brown that's leading this. And so he was talking about wants and needs when I was out there, but a real great opportunity for students to get a good start on understanding financial management. So we saw the Bobcat buddies, I think, earlier. This is the week of welcome that's out at Adams Middle School, little shark dance contest out there, but great opportunity to build culture, routines, and relationships. Lots of back to school nights took place over the first few weeks. So many teachers putting in long hours. Their rooms looked amazing, and they did a great job welcoming parents and making them feel like partners and working together. We know that that's the best way that education works, and I want to just acknowledge all the teachers that took the time to put so much effort into it, and all the parents that took the time to come out and partner with us. And then we have some schools that are trying house programs where they're sorting some of their students into houses. So we saw this at Marsh Creek and IME last year. And so Cray's taking that on. And I thought it was great that they got Dr. Cray to come out and help sort the students in that. So some places have the sorting hat, and we have Dr. Cray. So great job with that. Alana Stone, who's our Brentwood elementary counselor, was out there doing a Meet the Counselor lesson, and I just want to acknowledge all of our counselors that are getting around to each and every class, trying to talk about the resource that's available in the counselor at each school that we were able to hold on to, and really foster that sense of belonging that we have and want for all of our students. So she was out at Ms. McMullen's second grade class doing that lesson, and then in a middle school, this is Catherine Daniels' wellness room. She's one of the counselors out there that she opened up, and this is a great place for students to come and connect during lunches, and she's seen a huge increase in the number of students that are just happy to be there. There's games to play. There's all kinds of fun activities, things to do there. I want to thank the HSS for coming by and donating 40 backpacks and boxes filled with school supplies to our district. We appreciate their partnership. They were also donors to us last year, and we will put them to good use. As we close out tonight, many of you may have heard that we lost Ron Nunn. And I wanted to just take an opportunity to thank Ron Nunn and thank his family for all that he's contributed to our district over so many years. We're fortunate to have a school named in his honor. And we've also been fortunate to have him participating in that school over the last several years and coming out and meeting the kids. They're always excited to meet a namesake. And I also wanted to give any board members the opportunity to say anything that they wanted to say at this point.
Well, the one thing I would like to, Ron was a friend and a real loss to the community because he has done so much for this community. Changed the Face was the largest farmer, brought in the Somerset, did so many things. He was active with the school district and obviously donating the site at Apple Hill for Ron Nunn's school. His wife was a teacher and on the school board. The elementary school board. Ron himself, I think, was on the high school board at one time. So I would like to take a moment, if we would, just to reflect, and then if others would like to add something, we can do that. So may we take a moment right now. Thank you so much.
I'm sure we'll have continued opportunities. Mr. Dudek, did you want to say anything?
I would just like to add, didn't really know Mr. Nunn until I got on the board, and then got to know him rather well, him and his wife Shirley. My prayers go out to her and the whole family. He did wonderful things, very generous and wonderful things. And like Dr. Eden said, the school, we have a school named after him, and he definitely a hero as far as what he's done for Brentwood and stuff. His whole family, actually. But it's going to be very sad. And again, my prayers are out to the family. Thanks.
Okay. And then finally, we have on a celebratory note, Bob Brown, who started with us in 1996 in the maintenance department and was promoted on to maintenance. And then Bob, I think you left in, was it 2008 to go to Liberty? Okay. And then you were there for 6 years as their director, 5 years? Okay. They said it felt like 6 years. They were for 5 years. All right. No, so for 5 years in Liberty, and then we were able to hire you back. I think some of the things, Bob's been our maintenance director since then. And I think some of the things that I just want to share about Bob is that one of the things that I really respect about him is how much he cares, right? That was evident in how he showed up. He really cares about the district. He always had our best interests at heart and was trying his best to do a really difficult job, and I really appreciate that. Also, the district office that you're sitting in, as we were growing way beyond what we were capable of housing in here, and I think we had 2 bathroom stalls for big groups like this that were coming in, we would have never been able to remodel without Bob. So the work that you put into that and helped us make a place that was safe for people to work and come, I think has been we've been so fortunate to have you, and we want to wish you the best in retirement as we go forward. And so if you come on up for just a second. And this says, in grateful appreciation for over 24 years of dedicated and loyal service to our district, your commitment and contributions have made a lasting impact on our students, staff. And it's signed by Board President Eagle Geddes. Thank you. And then we also have this special challenge coin. We don't give this out very much. But this signifies the significant role that you played in our district and just how much you've been to the district going forward and your impact will continue. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody
Anybody else want to say anything? Congratulations, Bob. Thank you. Thank you.
Bob,
Dad, thank you
don't
as
forget
well.
about the little people with the coffee. That's all I got to say. All right. Yeah. Enjoy your new hobby or your continuing hobby. So.
You want to say anything about it?
I want to say that I appreciate all the time I've spent here. Dana, I really appreciate the fact that you took a chance on me. It's been challenging, but it's been rewarding at the same time. This is a stellar district, way better than Liberty.
We know.
And full of a lot of good-hearted, intelligent, hardworking people. And that's one reason why this district is able to do as much as it does with the shallow resources of the state is the meager crumbs that they throw at us. This district still, in my opinion, is phenomenal. And like I always say, just drive around and look at the district's landscape and see what the difference is. And we're operating shoe free. So you guys should be proud of yourselves.
And that is my report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Do we have any board member comment or committee reports at this time? If not, we will move for a motion to open public comment.
Move that we open public comment.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, we open public comment. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It passes 4-0, so we will open public comment. We will start with Nahil. Am I pronouncing your first name now? I'll let you reintroduce yourself correctly.
Hello, BUSD staff and BUSD board members. Thank you for letting me present some brief remarks regarding the work and introduction of our Brentwood Youth Commission. First, hello everybody. My name is Sahil. I'm a new commissioner on our Brentwood Youth Commission, and I also attend Bristow as a 6th grader. This year, the Brentwood Youth Commission will be planning to add a significant amount of academic events and consolidate some others. These include the Multicultural Fair, as you all have probably seen in schools such as March Creek, etc. Instead of a decentralized system where each school puts on their own, we will plan to communicate and consolidate that so that we can have one centralized event where all the school's leadership teams can come out. It will be a huge teamwork event, and generally attendance numbers will be bolstered and high. We are also planning to make a math bowl. I hope you guys, the BUSD, will support that. And we are also planning to make a consolidated STEM night too, a whole youth commission sponsored STEM night. We highly encourage at least one of you to attend our September meeting for more details. Next, as our goal is to foster youth inclusivity, promote the quality of life for the youth, and be an advocate for all minors in the city of Brentwood, as aforementioned, we will heavily expand our events, and we will also devote ourselves into communication with the schools and general formal communication with the BUSD to foster good sentiment and to get the wider youth populace over that finish line, as we, the BUSD, and the Youth Commission are both on the same team, delivering quality product, education, events, competitions, etc. to the youth of our great city. Finally, thank you to the BUSD staff and BUSD board members. Also, just a special shout out / thank you to Board President Geds, who came into our theater in the middle of band and said hello to everybody. So thank you for that. Now I yield the floor.
Thank you, Sahil. Beautiful. Thank you. Mr. Sammy, please come up.
Yeah, top that, Sammy. Yeah.
How did that happen? Thank you for yielding the floor. First of all, thank you for letting me just come and speak to you. I come as a father, and I come as a former administrator in this wonderful district. In 2017, I officially retired according to slurs. Don't call the mic my example too much. But one way or another, I did not pay attention to counseling. I did not pay attention to my good friends who told me to always say no. And I came back, and coming back to this district variety of ways, supporting different schools and administrative duties. Been able to assist some folks that are school teachers throughout this last 8 years. Been able to get in Ron Dunn, Gary, Pioneer, Carlos Road, and it's just been an absolute pleasure to come back and work in this district. I've also coached a couple of folks in administrative division. And also, I get calls every now and then and say, hey, can you tell me about the district I want to apply? And so I'm giving some information on their application process. And I'm blessed to see that some folks are here with hired. And it's not about me, and I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to explain to you how proud I am of this district and the support that I received. And as I was having dinner tonight with the principals, I consider myself so lucky to have such a good group of friends. And no matter what, I know that I can always be there and always be there. So I really appreciate that. I want you to feel that. I think sometimes we forget to just say thank you. I couldn't have done any of this without their support. I couldn't have done anything without the teachers and classified folks, the folks here at the district office who always are here for me. And I just wanted you to know how appreciative I am. There is another group of people that are, you guys mean a lot. But there's another group of people that mean a little bit more, and that's my family. They've always been very supportive of me. And, I'm proud to say that I'm a father of 4 children who have gone through the Brentwood School District. And that means a lot. So, as a way of that, I want to say thank you. You know, I need this. I'm really proud of all of my kids. But this past week, my son was able to publish his first book. And it's a book called Feelings Book with the illustrator. And I want to give you a copy each to have. I want to apologize to our secondary folks. I ran out of copies, as well as cabinet. But we've donated a book for every school administrator, for every school counselor, and another book to donate in the library. Matthew is a product of Loma Vista and Bristol Middle School. And so to see him this is really significant. And I just wanted to say, as a way of saying thank you for everything you've done for me, I want to just give back to you guys as well. So, thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. I don't have any other speaker cards. Is there anyone else who wanted to address the board?
Move that we close public comment.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. We close public comment. All those in favor?
Sammy, I'm glad you have your priorities straight on who gets a book, though. That's very nice. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Item 8 is consent items. Do I have a motion for the consent items?
Just a quick note, at this time of the year, because of the hiring, you have a walk-in personnel document, so.
Do you want to introduce?
I do. Well, I do. Yeah,
Bring
so
it in.
I do. So on this document, the very last person on this document, no reflection of their importance in there. You heard a retirement celebration earlier. That gentleman's name is Will Steinhauer, and it's our recommendation based on interviewing and background checks, and just what a wonderful job that he did, that he be selected as our new director of maintenance and operations. Did you want to share anything for the board to give them a little color?
It's over here.
You're looking in the wrong.
Yeah, I just want to say, welcome, Will, to Business Services and all of Brentwood. We're very excited to have you here. Will has extensive experience in project management, operations, leadership. But most of all, we're growing, we're still growing. We have lots of schools, and we're really looking forward to having you here. So thank you. And thank you to your family for being here tonight.
Why don't you introduce your family? We know one of your family pretty well, but we don't know two of the others.
Does anybody in here not know Levi? It would probably be easier to just go background. And then our two children, Chase, our oldest, senior at Heritage, and Ren, our youngest, now a freshman at Heritage. So both of them spent the bulk of their time, the length of the time in USD schools. So we appreciate it. We love the schools.
Okay, Will. Well, we're glad you're here. So this is the awkward part, right? Is the board has to vote on this. So depending how this goes, it could be fantastic. It could be, so we'll see how it goes. But this is a vote for consent agenda, including that item.
Nobody wants to pull anything. I'll make a motion that we approve all consent items 8.0 to 8.11.
I'll second.
It's been moved in second. We approve all consent items 8.0 through 8.11. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? It passes 5-0.
Congratulations. All right. Congratulations, Will.
We have no hearings and appeals. We do have a report out of closed session, which I will read. The board ratified a resignation and release agreement with a former teacher of the district. Item 10.1, Brentwood School District Day Review. Staff.
Thank you. Good evening. Tonight, we're looking at our 25-26, what's called the 45-day revise that is required by our education code. And what happens is on June 18th, the board adopted the district budget, as every district does. And then the governor has to sign the state budget that begins July 1st, like our budget, by July 1st. So on June 27th, he signs the budget. And what a 45-day revision is, if there's any material changes, then we bring these revisions to the board. And that's what we're looking at tonight. So the what we call the enacted budget, which is the signed budget that's into law now, there is no change to the COLA, which is a 2.3%, but there were some changes in some ongoing and one-time money. And so we're going to look at, there was an additional LCFF, so some TK, transitional kindergarten money. So it's a discretionary block grant, which is one-time learning recovery emergency block grant, which is one time, and it's actually giving us some money back. And these items were not included in our adopted budget, which is why we're looking at them now. So when we take a look at the impacts of the budget, so what does this do for Brentwood, for our school district? So the governor has talked about adding this, but it wasn't approved and not in the budget, that there's an additional addition for of $2,397 for every TK based on average daily attendance. And this is specifically went into the budget because the student to adult ratio reduced from 12-1 to 10-1 in all our TK classrooms, which is requiring our district, as all districts, to add additional instructional aid hours to our TK programs. Then there's also a one-time discretionary block grant, and that is estimated to bring us about $2.99 million. And then we'll also have, again, one time, and then we have, it's called the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant. You probably remember it. It was during the COVID times, and we're getting an estimated $290,000. And it's actually, I call it take back, give back. It was one of the ones that we had allocated for counselors and intervention teachers. And then they took some of it back after they gave it to us, and it was allocated. And so this is a small amount that they're giving back based on the budget. So what does that look like for our ongoing and our 2 out years, which we're always looking at as required by law? Well, we will, as you recall in the adopted budget, in order to meet our 3% reserve, we had to borrow money from Fund 17. So we had $703,000 that we borrowed and moved into general fund. So at first interim, when we come back, that'll be moved back to Fund 17. Now, on the multi-year projections, we also, at the adopted budget, had said we estimated reducing $2 million in expenditures for the 26-27 and another $2 million in 27-28. And based on these dollars, we know that there's going to be maybe not a complete removal of the money, but a definite reduction. And in how much is removed. The thing is, and I'll go into it again, is that so 73% of our revenue that came in is one time. So it's going to help specifically for 26, 27, as well as this year, but not so much in the out years. But again, first interim comes to the board in December, but it's financials through October. So it includes all this information. And then it also includes, which you may remember, is like all the new hires we've added, all the new TK positions, everything that happened in July, and then hiring in August. And so by the end of October, we really have a true revised budget, which is based on actuals of number of classrooms, number of teachers, number of aides. So when we take a look of the revise, this shows the impact and change from when we were here 2 months ago in June. So the thing that I really want to focus on is just in column 2, you can see that the enacted budget provided the district an additional $4.5 million in revenue. Again, 73% of that is one time, but it does make our revenues $4.5 million higher for the 25-26 school year. So the impact of that is that Fund 17, we transfer it back to our rainy day fund because we need it there, and where our reductions will not be as significant in the out years. And also the important thing is we're always looking at our unrestricted ending fund balance reserve. So on June 18th, it was 3%. Now with these new additions, we estimate it at 5.35%. But what I really want to point out is that's 2.35% additional, but we're not at first interim yet. So this is very good news for us, but when we look at first interim, it's not going to be as high. There's expenses that we know will go up, but it's certainly better than where we were before. And then in the out years, we have a little less than 5%. So it's much better news for the district, but we have to be very cautious and really pay attention to our expenditures. And, we always talk about, well, where are we today? I think the biggest issue that you hear both in our state and in our local districts and, even for the nation is there's unprecedented levels of economic uncertainty, right? At federal, state, everywhere. And so the thing is that poses risk to education funding. How much is the Fed going to give? How much is the state going to give to us? We also know that the state enacted budget may change because we haven't had the tax filings from Ventura and LA County. They were extended due to the fires. And the state does have structural deficits for the next 4 years. The good news was the federal budget released the allocation for this year that was originally frozen. However, we don't know for next year which of our programs will be impacted. So we will already be thinking about that because next year planning really starts in December. Again, 73% is one-time funds. And just a reminder to always think about one-time funds refer to funds allocated for specific non-reoccurring purposes. And they're distinct from ongoing, and one-time fund are really used for one-time purposes only because they're only here this year and they're not going to support the ongoing increased costs. They also, one-time funds max structural deficits. And, our district financials are a major concern. Our reserves remain low. And we continue to monitor the budget closely, as we always have, but we are also focusing on our students and our educational programs.
Yeah, and the only other thing, Diane did a great job of covering all the challenges. I think one of the things that you'll see when we get to 10-5 is we're going to give an enrollment update. And one of the challenges we're seeing right now is our enrollment is coming in currently under where we projected. And so we'll talk about what impact that'll have as we go forward. Of course, we don't know how that'll play out over the next couple of months, which are the most important, but that'll also have an impact on this budget as we go forward.
Yeah, and then just a reminder that in September, we bring the unaudited actuals. We've closed last year's books, 24-25, so we have actuals. And then first interim, which I spoke about, which are financials through October 31st, come in December. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. That's an information item. And 10.2 is also Measure B update is an information item. Chris?
That's me.
Oh, again, Diane. Wonderful.
It's hiding my. It's all right. I have it.
Uma, this might also be a good time for you and your family to build.
Yeah. I got it, but I downloaded it. This is, so Measure B is the bond that was passed by our generous taxpayers and community in 2016 for $158 million. And there was a lot of work done over the summer that we wanted to share with you. Oh, it just, okay. And also John Navarro is here sitting in the front. He's the senior project manager for Cummings. So if there's any questions afterwards, John could answer them. That's not it. That's the COC one. That's okay. We can use that one. It's the same.
That's what's linked.
Okay, that's fine. Let's go. All right. There you go. Okay. So this summer we had new flooring at 3 schools. You might remember that the previous summer we had new flooring as well. Many of our schools have original flooring, or it's very old. It's not safe. It hasn't been quite, safe in some of the classrooms. So Brentwood Elementary, Guerin Elementary, and Loma Vista all got new flooring. And I do have to say, it was a lot of classrooms, and everything has to get moved out. And then the new floors are put in, and then everything has to be put back. And 7 weeks isn't that long, but it actually, they did it early. They did it a couple weeks early, and it looks really great. I've walked a lot of the classrooms, and we went out to bid. That was all approved by the board. And here's a picture of Brentwood. Oh, thank you. So Brentwood Elementary, so they received new carpet and new VCT flooring. And then you can go to the next one. Guerin Elementary, same thing, but it makes the classrooms, really sparkle and stand out. And again, it's really well done. And then Loma Vista. And Loma Vista had half of their school done last year, and then the second half was completed this year. And then we had shade structures, which we have been in the works and on a bond project list for almost since the beginning of the bond when we put the first list together. But Mary Casey Black received a new shade structure to provide additional shade. So it doubled the amount of area for the tables and shade for all the kids at lunch, and it's really nice. This whole thing, again, went out to bid, went through the Department of State Architect. This was a big project. And then Pioneer Elementary also received a shade structure for lunch. And these photos were taken the week, 8 days before school started, so they were just being completed, but if you walked there now, there's tables under everything and
The
kids.
shade plus solar or just shade?
Just shade, yeah. Thank you. Okay. And then Edna Hill, the student center and classrooms attached to that, next time you're at Edna Hill, I highly recommend you walk by it. If you might remember, it was peeling, all the glazing was coming off, it was all crackly, and you couldn't really even see through the windows very well. Well, the whole thing was redone, and it got all new windows, and there's another picture. So this was a project, it looks really great for that whole building, brand new. Thank you to our bond. And then Marsh Creek, this picture doesn't really show you much, but throughout the school, there were significant areas, large and smaller areas, where the walkways were uneven. There were cracks that could be safety hazards. And so we did a significant amount of concrete work to really even it out and make it all smooth throughout the site. And I think that's it. So those are the main projects we did over the summer with our bond money.
Thank you for the Measure B update. That's an information item. Item 10.3 is a district summer programs update.
All right. District summer programs update.
Hi, board. I'm here for Christy Sanchez. She was our principal during ESY, but she was in our classrooms today and got bonked in the head kind of hard. So she just went home to rest. And so I'm covering for her.
And I'm Kelly Ayotte. I was the principal for the Summer Math Academy and oversaw the ELOT program as well.
So for special education, we have ESY, which is extended school year, and that's only students who are eligible per their IEP. We serve students preschool through 8th grade at Marsh Creek from June 10th to July 9th, and it was a 4-hour program. The content is we follow the student IEP goals. We had over 220 students with 39 teachers, but over 65 classified staff, because we have a lot of, this is our most high needs children who are eligible for ESY and go to ESY. So they have lots of adult support.
We also had 2 programs that were running at Pioneer this summer. We had our ELOP program, which is our Extended Learning Opportunity Program, which is funded through grant money through the state. This serves our unduplicated students. We also have a parent-paid portion. So we had TK through 5th grade students that were attending Pioneer from June 10th through June 30th. That program ran from 8:30 to 5:30 every day. They were engaged in some learning opportunities, and we had a fabulous group of employees from Right at School that were supporting that program. I also supported our Summer Math Academy program, which was directed towards math intervention for our 2nd through 5th grade students. These students were identified through their benchmark assessments through the district, our IXL benchmark assessments. This program ran from 9 to 12 every day. It was from June 10th through June 27th, focusing mainly on math number sense.
Okay, so I'll let you talk about how.
Sure. I touched on this briefly already, but our Summer Math Academy students were selected by their IXL benchmark scores in February. We sent out several invitations to parents and then opened it up to teacher recommendations as well.
And for ESY students, it's based on need. You have to demonstrate regression or recoupment. That means that you regress to a point that you don't recoup at the same rate as neurotypicals or average peers would recoup. So, or you're at a critical stage development. Those are 2 kind of criteria areas for IEPs.
And then the extended learning opportunity program was students who were already participating in this program during the academic school year that wanted to continue and extend those learning opportunities over the summer. A couple of highlights from our Summer Math Academy program. We had 145 students that attended, which was a really great turnout this year. We tried to keep class sizes small with about a 20-to-1 ratio, or 20-to-2 ratio actually, because each classroom had a certificated teacher and an instructional aide to support. About 1/3 of our students that attended were students with IEPs, so that classified staff support was really instrumental in providing a lot of hands-on in-time support to students as they were engaged in learning opportunities. We had a fabulous morning snack and sack lunches provided through our food services department, and the students were really excited. We had a lot of variety of fruits and juices available to them in the morning, and they were always really excited to take home whatever wonderful lunch was provided in their sack lunches every day. We were also able to provide transportation to some families that required this through Liberty Transportation. Angela Mullen was really instrumental in making this all happen for us. We did pick students up from their homeschool sites and transport them to Pioneer, which was wonderful. Again, these students were actively engaged in a lot of hands-on learning opportunity. They were collaborating a lot with their peers. It was really great to see them build new friendships with students whom were attending other homeschool sites throughout the regular school year. We did have a recess time for them every day to go out and get some energy out. They really enjoyed that time, and then came back focused and ready to learn afterwards. Again, our curriculum was really focused on supporting math learning. All of our curriculum was programs that were developed by Jo Buller. She's a Stanford professor who has a program called U Cubed. It's a week of inspirational math. She's also done a lot of work around mathematical mindsets, and then support with building fact fluency with our students who needed that support. But again, the opportunity to provide a really small classroom opportunity for students to engage in hands-on math learning was really, really beneficial to them.
Okay, so ESY highlights, we had free breakfast and lunches served daily. We provide special ed transportation, which we provide during the school year as well. Every class size was either 10, 15 at the most, so all small class sizes with 2 teachers and the aide support. We provide individualized academic instruction on the IEP goals as well as social skills building. And you'll see Christy did an outstanding job. Like, I cannot say enough. She is our program specialist during the year and started working on ESY as in March and putting it together. The kids had a great time, the parents had a great time, and I love the next few slides are all photos so you can see what it looked like. We have to also provide all services that are on the IEP. Most of the services, if you're eligible, they're not maybe the same rate of service during ESY because the day is only 4 hours, but we provided speech, OT, physical therapy, behavior support services, and counseling services. So everybody got the services on their IEP. And we had weekly themes, including water play and spirit days. So she put together a calendar, and this is set up by each week. So ESY first week was let's go to the garden, and they planted beans, and Chrissy provided the soil, the cups, the seeds, and she had them at the front where the teachers would sign in the morning, and teachers would come up and pick up what they had. So that was week 1. Week 2 was let's go to the zoo, and she put up a pop-up tent and brought stuffed animals that were all kind of zoo animals, and kids would come and visit and take photos. It was so cute, and she dressed that's her in my far right with the hat and the braids. She dressed like a zoo keeper. Is that what zookeeper? And they played Disney music. They had a little karaoke machine where they were playing music. The kids had a great time. I mean, the staff and the students, staff said it was so well organized, and the parents said it was the best ESY experience that they had had. Then week 3 was let's go camping. They had s'mores, and she had a little fake paper fire, you can say, on the table there. So they made s'mores and they went fishing. That's what they're doing in that bucket, and had a little tent set up. So They went camping, and then they had, this is around 4th of July, Let's Celebrate America. What they're doing with the gloves, they're tie-dyeing t-shirts. So they tie-dyed, they painted flag pictures, they used chalk, very fun. And then the last one was Let's Go Tropical, and it was tropical theme. And the last day, there was a snow cone machine, or a snow cone truck. That's a snow cone truck. He's been helping us out at different events, and the kids adore it because you get clear ice and you can go put your own juice on it. It's really fun. Yeah, it was really lovely. And that's Christy with Chantel Kabihi and, oh gosh, I'm spacing out her name. I apologize. I didn't know I was presenting the other main assistant to Christy doing ESY. Oh, so this is just random photos that she really wanted to continue to include. We really had a lot of fun. It was a very fun time. Best ESY I definitely have ever been to. So these are our thank yous. Thank you. I'm going to say real quick, thank you, Marsh Creek. Thank you, Teresa D'Alfonsi, Victor, who custodian, also other custodial services who helped us out. I know it was a lot, especially kids sometimes have messes and, there are a lot to clean up, and they were just so supportive and helpful. Kristen Neeson and the food services, all the food service cafeterias support, who were so great with the kids. So our staff was just we're so grateful.
I also want to thank Angela Mullen. She was really helpful in getting the program started, making sure she was sending out the invitations to all of our students who we invited to participate in our summer math academy, and Susie Bach, who was our returning secretary for her 3rd year with our summer math academy program. She was a fabulous asset. Also really appreciate the fact that she was bilingual and able to support in communication with our families. And again, really just, I want to echo a huge thank you to Pioneer for opening up their school site for us. And then Kristen Neeson for navigating and supporting us with getting food provided to our students.
And I have to shout out to Jackie Oria, our nurse, who was available for students with diabetes, any other health needs that we had, which is just such a comfort to us to have her present.
Yeah, and thank you both for coming today. One of the reasons that we have this presentation is so the board can see all the wonderful things that took place during the summer. But one of the other reasons is just to get the opportunity to say thank you to Kelly and Christy for all of the great work that they did. And so please pass that on to her, Justine. But we're so fortunate to have all the efforts that you put into this great program. And thank you for your leadership, Angela. It was certainly, I was excited to go out there and visit. It was certainly a fantastic program this year. We really appreciate your leadership. So, board, do you have any questions?
Just a comment. I just think it's great the way you integrated all the learning with all of the fun. I mean, because it's quite a few hours during the day, and there's a lot of smiles in these pictures here. So it looks like it was a successful, at least in that regard.
Yeah, it was really, really successful. And I've heard we heard great things about the Pioneer program. People would reach out and say, what am I eligible for? And it's like, we have very different programs, but we did, even in the weeks coming, we were back and forth emailing, and it was a good collaboration from the very beginning.
And I know I have some room for growth to keep up with Christy's wonderful pictures. We did have popsicle days. We did have music in the courtyard at dismissal. A lot of happy parents, a lot of happy students who were eager to come every day and participate in the program. So it was a wonderful opportunity, and thank you for extending that learning opportunity to our students.
We'll look forward to your and Susie pictures next year when you come.
We're going to make
Kelly.
sure you guys get them.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. That's an information item. Item 10.4 is the Brentwood Union School District Board Priority Goal Update on attendance.
Well, the first one of the year.
Well, hello, board. I am very happy to be here to talk about our first priority goal update of the year with attendance. So make sure you get a copy of that. That'll be coming up in a minute. So don't look yet. You're ahead of the game there, Mr. Gursky. All right. So I'm excited to talk about our priority goals. As you know, we shift them a little bit each year, but really try to stay focused on the things that we're doing and really to dive deep and do them well. But focused on attendance. So our focus this year is to continue to improve our attendance across the district. This is so critical for our students' learning and their success, their feeling like they belong, and of course, fiscally, it's really critical for our district as well. So, of course, as I just shared, the importance of attendance, not only academically is it really important for them to focus on that mastery of skills, but their connections at school, their social ability to learn to support each other, to feel connected, and then their long-term success. So the action steps that we're taking, we're continuing to do. Our schools, our leaders are doing an amazing job at the school site. They have continued to do the most we've ever done at our schools with continuing that focus on the data focus, outreach to families, having incentives at the schools, meeting with families when there's any issues. They're doing a really some great work there. And at the district level, we're doing a lot of messaging with making sure that they're at our focus is on attendance and that we are reminding families of how important that is to plan their vacations when we do have breaks because we have such an incredible schedule. All of our back to school nights, there was a presentation that was shared with all families about how important attendance is for their child's belonging and learning, but also because fiscally it's really critical. So that was shared with everybody. And then we do share those flyers and things with families. And then the incentives are principals are very competitive. I heard that there was not a trophy pass between middle schools. That was the rumor. So I don't know. There could be some kind of tussle going on behind me. Too bad our SROs left. And then, of course, we continue to have our school attendance review board. So we do host the middle school or the Far East County School Attendance Review Board for everybody. So that is something that we, as Brentwood School District, does lead. And so we have those starting next month, and we will be in charge of that for the Far East County. So this is just one of the flyers that goes out, and they just look like this, or different ideas. I'm just trying to make sure that we are constantly bombarding families with the importance of attendance. And our goal this year is to increase it by 1%. As we know, 1% is about $1 million for our district. So we're just continually reminding families, but also having that goal in mind. And so we want our attendance to go up while we want our chronic absenteeism to go down. So our chronic absenteeism goal is to reduce that to below 13%. We'll know more when we get the dashboard data comes in from the state, so we don't have that information yet. So we won't have that information. We can update you in February when we come back. And this is the chronic absenteeism for the last 2 years from our state dashboard information. We keep declining every year, which we would like to. But remember that before the pandemic, we were at 6%. So our last data point was 14.9%. We'd like it to be obviously 6%, but our goal for this next year is to be below 13% at every school site. We would like it to be below 13% for all of our subgroups as well. And then this is what you have in front of you. Good job. Now you can look at this wonderful piece of paper. But this has just blown up a little bit because it's so small. But this is from last year's, 2 years ago, and then last year's, the full year of data for each school site, and that every school just about improved. We have to just keep in mind that there are reasons. If a school didn't make improvements, we had some real population changes. We had those boundaries that shifted as well. IME didn't improve at all because they weren't even open. I'm just teasing. But they did great as a new, but they did a great job with building culture there. But we just, so we keep looking at this as something that our principals take very seriously, and they're constantly looking at their data. But we just want to make sure that we're constantly taking a look at it and finding ways to improve. And that is the update for attendance. Do you guys have any questions or?
There's a lot of effort that goes in. I mean, there's a lot of coordinated effort that's going in by everybody on this. I mean, it's huge. And you guys are pecking away at it. I mean, it's been a long haul since COVID and all that major changes that took place. And So I just appreciate all those efforts on this. It's a lot. And you're making progress.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Want to go ahead with the update?
so the enrollment update, is that, okay, yes. So this is a walk-in document, but what this, my principals are aware, they have this information. If anybody else wants a copy, there'll be extras. But what this shares is that we are, as Diane shared and Dr. Eaton shared earlier, our enrollment is not growing as much as we had hoped or anticipated at this point. Currently, we have 10,122 students. If we add our preschool and our SDC classes, then we are at 10,209. But if we would need to reach our projected CBEDS number that Diane uses for, our calculating our financial needs, we would need to continue to have 105 more students enroll in order for that to happen. Because when we look at that number where we're at, we've only grown by 31 students at this point.
Which of the two numbers is the ADA based on? The 10-1?
The 10-1, yeah. So we do have a ways to go.
Yeah, and why that's so significant, right, is because the budget that we built is based on a number that's quite a bit higher. And so all things considered, it's a rough estimate to say we get about $15,000 per student. So, right, so if we were down 100 students, that'd be $1.5 million, and that would be this year, and then the next 2 years going forward in the multi-year budget, right, as it goes forward, and also we would build on that. Now, historically, we've grown throughout, but this is lower than we've been before, compared.
Yeah, typically
Is
we
there-
grow. Yeah.
Is there any correlation? I mean, are kids afraid to come in because of what's going on in the, as far as the ice and all that other stuff? I mean, does that have a bearing, you think? Or
I don't know that we have a real good sense of that. At this point, we're seeing it as we're just not getting the growth that we thought we would get. I think that'll bear out more in the attendance numbers that we're seeing, is my guess, as we look at the attendance, especially in the beginning of school, and we look at those percentages, and then talking anecdotally with our principals and our counselors to kind of find out what they're seeing, because they really have a good handle on that. We'll know more. One of the things that they've seen in other school districts is a move towards virtual programs, to online programs, as opposed to coming into school when that's a fear that exists. And so we know that our virtual program has grown. We think that's because of the excellent job that the school has done, but there also could be pieces of that as well. Yeah. I don't know if that answers.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions?
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. That was an information item. The next four items are action items. Item 10.6, the approval of the 26-27 district goals timeline.
Yes, board, this is just here. This is our annual goal document that we approve in the beginning of the year, and it shows the timeline of how we'll work through, how we'll collect public and district input, how we'll bring that back to you, and how we'll ultimately decide on our goals and our budget for the 26-27 year, which is hard to say at the beginning of 25-26, but that's what we're looking. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I make a motion that we approve 10.6, the 26-27 district goals online.
Second?
Item 10.6 has been moved and seconded. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. It passes 4-5-0. Item 10.7 is the approval of the provisional interim permits. Teaching permits.
Yeah, so what's before you tonight, board, is we bring this to you every year. As you see, these are our teachers that are working on the provisional intern permit. And so once you approve that, then we are able to file this with the state.
Move that we approve item 10.7, the provisional interim permits.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Item 10.7. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item 10.8 is the approval of administrative services waiver.
Yeah, so administrative services waiver is much like a PIP. These are our two individuals that are admin for us, and they are currently working on their credentials. And so we need to move them forward to receive their administrative service waiver if you approve.
I'll make a motion that we approve the administrative services waiver for Jamie Griggs and Amy Pierman.
Second.
Item 10.8, the approval of administrative services for the two individuals have been stated. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item 10.9 is the acceptance of the collective bargaining sunshine.
Yeah, back in May, we brought to you the CLC Sunshine from CLC Teamsters, but I failed to bring before you our acceptance of their sunshining, and the entire contract is open. And so that's what this is. It's a formality before we begin negotiations.
I move we approve item 10.9, the acceptance of the collective bargaining sunshine.
I'll second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Item 10.9 has been approved. Last item is an information item.
Yeah, and these are first reading of several board policies. Thanks again to Nicole Clevin for putting together the succinct summary of the changes in each one. These are here for information. Any questions or changes we can work through, but absent that, they'll come back for your approval at the next meeting in September.
Great.
Is there any item a board member would like to comment for a future agenda item? If not, then we'll announce that the regular next meeting is September 10th at 6 p.m. here. Look forward to everyone being there again.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes.
Aye.
Adjourn.
Thank you, Sammy.